friends. Happy Friday Eve. I hope you're all doing well. Okay. She does not want to be on the camera. Today, we are going to do something I've been thinking of for a very, very, very long time. That is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Can you see her? Oh, that's Bonnie, by the way. We're going to finally answer the question, can you borrow someone else's starter and still get the same result? Or is it better for you to create your own starter? This is something that's been on my mind for a very long time because my sister-in-law really wanted to get into sourdough, and so she grabbed some from a neighbor, and the neighbor had very, very, very strict rules on how it needed to be fed and what time and what kind of water and what kind of flour was used. And I am so lax that I was like, girl, you don't need to do any of that. And her starter died. So I'll insert a clip like from my phone here. Of what it used to look like. It was in this tiny little tub. It's 50-year-old starter from Israel. My friend did mission work in Israel, and so she made some friends over there and they came to visit her, and her friend was like, I have to bring my starter because it's my child and I need to make sure it doesn't waste away while I'm gone for the week in the States. So she brought some and she passed some along to me, and I've always wanted to know, because my starter did die when everything happened, can you take someone else's starter and feed it and treat it the way you want to treat it and still make sourdough bread just the same? So that has been an age-long question that I've been asking myself. So I've taken the starter. She didn't give me any instructions on how she fed it or what she uses or anything. So I am starting from zero knowledge, and I think that's best because it gives me the opportunity to treat it as I would treat it. So I have one starter that I'm creating from scratch. As per usual, you've seen me do that tons and tons of times because my sweet baby husband keeps frying them in the oven. There's a video up here I'll link of how I made it and when I made it, and you can follow the steps on how to make your own starter. But if you are starting from the ground up, use that video. If you have already gotten a packet of starter or your neighbor just put some in a jar, then let's figure this out together. Let's figure out what that looks like, if it's plausible. Can we continue to feed it the way we need to feed it? We're all on the same page here in both directions. So if you're starting from scratch or if you're starting from a good starting point, we are on the same page here. So I am very excited to see. I'm gonna try to keep everything. This is very much science experiment, right? Like, I always treat all of my bakes like a science experiment. I don't know why, but I do. So I'm gonna try to keep all the variables the same. So like temperature, where they're stored, the flour that's used, the temperature of the water that's used, even down to like the measuring cups that are used. Like, does plastic have a different effect than metal? I don't know, honestly. As well as like the same stir. So I'm trying to keep everything the same, both using glass mason jars. I transferred the starter into my glass mason jar that I've made previous starters in. So I'm trying to keep everything the same. The only difference is we're starting with water and flour, and we're starting with the starter. So I'm very excited to see how this turns out. At the end of it, I would like to bake a bread and cut it in half to see how it turns out, see if there's any visible differences, if there's a different taste. Obviously you can't taste it, but I can let you know if there's anything with in the taste or the crust or the bake or anything like that. Luckily I have 2 Dutch ovens, so we can tandem bake them, and I think this is just gonna be a fun experiment. Honestly, I have always had this question, and when my sister-in-law got the starter, she had questions as well. So I'm really interested to see how this turns out. I have no idea. I'm still in the process of doing this, so I'm not coming to you post bake and everything. I don't really know. We are in this together. When I tell you we're at ground zero together, girl, we are at ground zero. Okay, this is just how riled up I get about sourdough. Which is just so funny and silly and goofy. But yeah, let's get right into the video. Let's see which one's better, if there's a better option, or if you can snag some. Because I really want this to encourage sharing starter, because the most daunting part about sourdough, in my opinion, is the starter. So I hope if this does turn out the way I think it will, then I hope this spurs a movement of sharing starter, so people who want to get into sourdough are able to without having the hindrance and the fear of creating a starter. But if not, there's plenty of videos. I'll again link mine here of how to make starter. It's super simple, super easy. It just takes some time. Just like anything that's good takes some time. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, this is the one we were given. As you can see, it's got a fun little hooch on it, and Best part, it reeks. So I'm gonna dump out the part that I don't want anymore, which is obviously all the top. And then we're gonna fill it into that jar and hopefully bring it back to life. All right, this is what we have left after disposing of most of it. Now we're gonna pop it into this bad boy and then we'll be good to go. Then we're gonna feed it. Normally I do 1/3 of a cup, but because this thing is so nasty, we're gonna use 1/2 a cup and then adjust accordingly for the water. And 1/2 a cup. And then while we're here, I'm gonna get another cup. Fill that with 1/3 of a cup. Now we're gonna do the water part. Water. And mix. I'm gonna err on the side of being cautious because there's already so much water in here. How it starts like getting harder to move around, I have to actually pick it up. That's when we're starting to get somewhere. I think I definitely could have used a bigger mason jar. I just wasn't expecting. I didn't know how much to use. Honestly, I've never taken someone's, but here we go. Okay. Here's the texture I'm talking about. You can see it's kind of like oatmeal-y. Yeah, perfect. Zoom in. Right there. Perfect. It's kind of taking a little while to come off the sides. That's what I'm looking for. This is perfect. Okay, moving on to the one we're creating now. All right, now we're gonna add our water. I'm doing 1/2 a cup as per usual. I want all the variables to stay the same, so normally I would use a spoon, but I'm gonna use the red spatula that I just used for the other one. Let me wash it off and then come back to mix, mix, mix. Again, there's that texture I'm looking for again. It's gonna look obviously a little bit different because I'm creating this one from scratch. The other one was already pre-made, so that is a good texture and I'm happy with that. I'm just gonna leave probably about that much of a gap. I'm gonna let these go off into their home for tonight. Check back in the morning. All right, this is our hooch pre-made starter. You can hear it's got some bubbles in it. You can see it's got some bubbles in it, so that's good. There is a little bit of separation. You can hear it. I think we're good to discard probably about till here and then fill it back up again. Quite literally. Just gonna yeah, that should be good enough. This is the other one that we just started last night. A couple bubbles, so that's promising. And it's got that beginning of yeast smell, and there's one giant bubble that was working. Gonna throw this out till probably about that bubble, I'd say. Maybe this bubble. No, probably that bubble. And then we're gonna fill them both up. This view reminds me of when people on TikTok say boots on the ground journalism. Like there's actually no need for me to show you me throwing this away, but it just feels like it needs to be done, you know? This is all me guessing. So I think I'm still gonna do 1/2 a cup for this. Gorgeous. Do 1/3 of a cup for this one. Seems like it has enough flour in there. All right, 1/4 of a cup going in. That might have been too much. Let's see. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I really like to get my anger out at night doing this. There's just something about getting really into it. Now I gotta always make sure there's no chunks. Don't want chunks anywhere. Okay, this is good. Do 1/4 of a cup in this one, and then we're set for the night. Water going in. And we're keeping this all the same. I don't want to look back on this and be like, oh, maybe it would have been different if I did this. I'm trying to keep all the variables the same. We'll be back tomorrow. Okay, I'm covering these up again. They're going in the oven. Leaving still a little bit of a gap. So tight. Okay, we are officially on day 3. He's a little hungry. This is the one we created from scratch. And this is the pre-made starter we had. So we can see we've got some nice bubbles. The smell is still quite strong of the hooch. So I'm gonna maybe feed it a little bit more today so that smell can go away. But I'm gonna do what I normally do. I'm gonna go empty these off camera because you've seen me throw it on the trash can by now. Then I'm just gonna feed them and put them back in the oven. Got a third of a cup going into the one we made. Just gonna. All right, we ended up with a little bit more than I would like. It's got a little bit of a watery consistency, but I put enough in there that I'm afraid if I add more, it might overflow in the oven, and that's never fun to clean up. So I'm gonna call that good for tonight. We're gonna move on to this one now. So we're gonna do half a cup here. I'm gonna do it over so I don't have another mess like I did in that video I posted. Less of a mess, let's say. And then I'm gonna fill it up, third of a cup of water. I would like to say in this moment, I just now realized why it's been so watery. I've been putting these backwards. Oh man, it's been a long week. Okay, so this is the size we're supposed to use for the flour, and this is the size we're supposed to use for the water. I've been putting flour in this, water in this. Obviously, they are not the same size. One fits inside the other. So, if my discovery is correct, this should mix up just fine. Yep, okay. Wow, that's so embarrassing. We'll see them in the morning. All right, another night of feeding. This is what they're looking like. We're gonna put them in the oven. Okay, we'll check back in the morning. Okay, these are done the next morning. I think we're getting close. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting close. Because these are looking like this, I'm gonna try to do the float test. If you're unfamiliar with the float test, it's how you find out if your starter is ready to bake or not. This one's looking a little bit better, you can see. Yeah, that sounds actually gorgeous. So I'm gonna try the float test. You just take a little spoonful of your starter, put it in some water that you would normally bake with, so like lukewarm/warm water, see if it floats. So let's try that. Here's one. I don't think it's gonna float, but we can try it. Actually, hold on now. Brian, come look, it passed the float test. Look.
Oh my god, it's floating. Oh, that one sank though.
Let's try this one. Interesting. The ones I thought... Oh, okay. Wait, okay. I think we might be able to bake tomorrow. After this last feed, I think we're gonna be able to bake in the morning. Yes! Okay. Disregard the rest that fell, but like the little ones that are up in the sky, we're gonna count that. All right, we're just gonna feed these. You can see kind of how much I've left in there. Just a little bit. Enough to keep it going, but not enough to overpower what we're growing. So we're gonna do the correct ratios today. We're gonna do a lot, like a rounded scoop, half a cup of flour, and then another rounded. I've learned if you do it over, most of it makes it in the bowl. Then we're gonna do a third of a cup of water, and then mix as usual. Keeping everything the same. We're still using this to mix. There's something to be said for 50-year-old starters like this one, but man, does it feel good to start a new one. It just feels more rewarding in my opinion. I took flour and water in a cup, now can make bread. Like, that's just so crazy to me. Okay, since we did the float test last night, I'm gonna trust that these are good to go. So we're gonna make some bread today. I just wanna show you where we're sitting and why I feel confident. There's so many bubbles here, like an insane amount. Also, it's taking a while to fall off the edge or fall off the side walls. You see that? How the bubble's taking a while. So I feel confident with that one. This one, it doesn't smell anymore like vinegar, so the hooch is gone, which is nice. We've officially canceled the hooch, but also look at all these bubbles. So I feel confident. We're gonna make a regular loaf. I think I've made it my recipe in the past like 2 or 3 videos. I'll link them up here so you can watch. I'm just gonna run through them this time, get them started, and then we can compare the bakes. Exciting. Multitasking. So let's do mine and this one. So this is my from scratch one. It's the air in it. Yummy. And then we're gonna do the pre-existing starter in this one. This is the one from Israel.
Oh, they're not both from Israel?
No, I made one from scratch.
Love you.
Love you more.
Yeah.
Yep. Off to the microwave. These go for 30 minutes. And then we'll add some salt and then do the rest of the stretch and folds.
I don't even see that.
Just want to let you know the variables are still the same. I do it off camera, but I wash my hands every time before, which is what I normally do for stretch and folds too. I go through a lot of paper towels that way. The dough feels a little different. The other one felt stiffer. This one feels a little more squidgy, so we'll see how it pans out. Okay, this is round 2. Last one. We have the pre-made starter on the left, and then we're gonna have my made starter on the right. But I'm gonna start with the one on the left because it's closer to you, and then I'll move you so you can see this side a little bit better. I like to give it some flour so it doesn't stick to me or itself. Pull it out. I will say this feels a lot airier now, which is funny because I felt like it was the stiffest and now it's really airy. So I think this is gonna be tall when it bakes. It's not gonna be compact, normal size. I think it's gonna be quite large. We shall see though. And then do our little push and pulls. And we'll do this all again tomorrow, so I don't usually take too much stock into it. I just want it to be folded underneath itself. Grab it, pop it, move it to the side, do the next one. This one also feels a bit airy. And when I say that, I mean this clump here pulls very easily. Whereas before, I had to actively stretch it, and you saw me do that. When I pick it up, it's a little flimsy. It doesn't hold its shape entirely. So it could just be the temperature, honestly, in the house as well. We just turned on the heat for the first time this year, so it's getting chillier. That could be it. It could just be going from the microwave into the semi-heat, semi-cold air. That's like giving it a little extra air. Could be literally anything, but again, not super stressed about it. I think it's gonna be just fine. There we go. Take down the sides. Same thing here. Take down the sides. Then I'm gonna put in the fridge overnight. The next day, we have our sourdough. I just put the Dutch ovens in the oven, funny, and let them preheat at 425. They just went off, so I'm gonna take this opportunity to quickly roll these out. This feels good. Why do I do this? I don't know. I've always done it, and it's never steered me wrong, so I'm gonna keep doing it. This is gonna be a big boy, I can tell. Alright, now we're gonna score it. My least favorite thing, but I have been inspired by work, so I'm gonna try to make a little tulip. I just don't know how people make such beautiful scores. I think maybe it's like the thing that I'm using. Like maybe I need a more controlled one, but I just feel like it's really not in my wheelhouse. I don't know, I try really hard, in fact, but alas. All right, the tulip. I think we're just gonna judge it by the tulip, and then editing me will come back and let you know which one's which, because I'm a little nervous, but we have a tulip there. This one's quite small. Interesting. Okay. So the size difference is gonna be very significant, I think, when this bakes out. I think this one's gonna be condensed and possibly gummy, and then this one's gonna be very aerated, have more air pockets, I think. We're gonna see, but that's my kind of prediction. So for this one, let's just do a tried and true wheat stock. Put these in the oven now. I'm just gonna keep these in order of how they're set up on the counter over there. This one is gonna be the tulip. This one is gonna be the wheat stock. Okay, to kind of see how this goes. Smells really good. That one is blown up. That's crazy. So is that one, kind of. Let me bring you closer so you can kind of see. That is what we're working with for that one. And then that one, like I said, has spread out quite a bit, honestly. So looking good. Okay, the tulip didn't stay. That's okay. At least this stayed. They're kind of the same size now, don't you think?
Wears her heart on her sleeve. Yeah, she's crazy. She's crazy. She's crazy. But her crazy's beautiful to me.
It's cooled for a little bit. This is what the crumb is looking like. This is the under bit. Here's the other loaf. Nice crumb. A little bake underneath. Okay. Let's cut into this one first. Like I said, good bit of air pockets. A lot more bubbles. But overall, not bad. Let's try this one. Yeah. Gummy down here. It's very, very tight. There's less air bubbles. It takes a while to come back. So definitely not the best. There's some space here, some holes, and it just kind of falls apart. But I think this is a great loaf, honestly. I think this is really, really nice. It's gonna get better with time, but The starter needs to age and stuff, but overall I'd say these are pretty good. This one could use some help. It's been a few days after that bake that I just showed y'all, and I have unfortunately come to the decision that due to not having any information on the starter that was already pre-made, the 50-year-old starter that we talked about, I wasn't able to get it back to its original form, unfortunately, and I have dumped it out. Although the hoocher wasn't there, the smell, the vinegar, like barley smell was still there, and it wouldn't go away no matter how much I fed it, and it was still watery compared to the starter that I created from scratch. And I just, no matter how long time had passed, like it just wouldn't change. So I ended up scratching that entirely, unfortunately. I do think there is an opportunity for sharing still. I just think maybe how they created the starter needs to be included in how they choose to feed their starter, and or what tools they use, or what water. I know some people are specific about purified water, so I think that those are important things to know, and I just didn't have all the information. So unfortunately, I can't say conclusively, no, you can't take a starter from someone else, and I don't want that to hinder anyone from grabbing some this holiday season, because I think this is the best time to start baking. It's cozy season, nice warm bread with a soup, or I'm not a soup girly, but with like a chili, or just to have on Thanksgiving. You can make stuffing. I made stuffing, I can link that video, last year, and it was really, really good. But this is like the perfect season for it, and so I don't want to hinder anyone from starting their journey, sourdough journey. That is the last thing I ever want to do. I want to encourage people to start baking, if anything. So I will not say conclusively, no, you cannot take a starter. I will say you need information when you do. The bread is edible, I will say. I've been eating it. It's right here. Most of it's gone, so it is good. I just have to put it back into the toaster to like fully bake it all the way through. Although it had the same amount of bake time like a normal loaf would, it just didn't fully bake. You saw those gummy bits and stuff. So I'm not gonna say no. I'm still going to say share your sourdough starter and start the journey. But I will say, if you're thinking of doing it long term, I would definitely start your own starter. It's just more rewarding too. Like, how fun is it to say that you created a starter from scratch? It's not all about bragging, but that is a little bit of bragging rights, if I say so myself. But no, this was a really fun experiment. Like I said, I was just really excited to have the information. A lot of times I get questions from people asking me these things, and I don't know the full answer to them, and I'm honest in saying that, but I'd like to know and be able to help when I can. So I'm grateful to know that it is a possibility. You can continue. I don't think having a hooch helped it in any way. So again, inconclusive results, TBD. If you do end up grabbing some from a neighbor, or from your mother-in-law, or your mother, your sister, your friend, your aunt, whoever in your life is doing sourdough. Actually, I'm not excluding it to women only. I know a good bit of men who actually love sourdough too. So whoever you grab it from this season, please let me know. Share that in the comments if you're working on anything, or you're planning on baking anything this season. Please let me know too. I love inspiration, and I want to get to know more of y'all. So thank you all for watching this video, and I will see y'all in the next one.